Kingdom is a 2010 Australian film, both written and directed by David Michôd. It stars actors such as James Freshville, Jackie Weaver, Sullivan Stapleton, Guy Pearce, and the bad guy from Rogue One.
Man of your talents?
Animal Kingdom tells the story of Joshua J. Cody, I will refer to him as Jay from here on, a 17-year-old whose mother dies from drugs. Jay is picked up by his grandmother, nicknamed Smurf, and is taken to live with the rest of the Cody family. After the police murder the leader of the family, Pope and Craig retaliate. This triggers a series of events that eventually lead to the downfall of the family. Jay is dragged along and finds his life changed forever. Before I continue, I'm going to introduce you to the absolute mental asylum that is the Cody family. The family consists of Barry Baz Brown, the leader.
You had your hands on the cock.
Janine Smurf Cody, the matriarch of the family.
You got your bags packed?
And her 3 sons, Darren, the Participation Award, Craig, the paranoid drug dealer, and Pope, the psychopath. The Cody family is allegedly inspired loosely by a real-life crime family residing in Melbourne called the Pennyville family. The Cody family is a completely original and fictitious family that is totally not inspired by any real crime family. Now that I've spent a bit too much time talking about the characters, I'll spend a couple minutes talking about the plot of the film. After the death of his mother, a boy Jay calls his grandmother Janine Smurf Cody for help. Jay stays with the rest of the Cody family.
Do you want a juice?
No!
The Cody household is under constant surveillance from the police. After Baz is murdered by the police,
He's got a gun!
Pope and Craig tell Jay to steal a Commodore to use as bait for some pig hunting. They're gonna do a murder! The police suspect the Cody family and they are all asked questions. Lecky recognizes the position Jay is in and tries to help him. After recognizing that Jay is the most likely to crack, Craig panics and runs away, resulting in him being gunned down in a field.
Enemy spotted. Enemy down.
After some time and some things happening, Nikki, Jay's girlfriend, is murdered by Pope.
Pope?
Yikes. Darren yells at Pope to stop.
Pope, what are you doing?
Pope, stop it, please!
Jay eventually finds out and cries. He goes on the run after Darren tells him that Pope is after him.
Jay, gotta get out.
Jay eventually goes to Detective Lecky for protection as a witness. Papa Smurf decides that Jay has got to go.
He's gotta go.
Jay tells Smurf that he wants to help. As a result, the Cody family are cleared in the court hearing. Jay visits Smurf, Pope, and Darren. All seems to be well until
It's a crazy fucking world.
well, until that happens. One of the many things that make this film stand out is the chilling atmosphere put together by director David Michôd. Each scene gives off a familiar vibe thanks to the setting and other factors, but the blatant violence that takes place creates a strong contrast that the audience isn't expecting. We're going to take a look at these 2 scenes for example. These are both death scenes. We'll start with the death scene of Baz. This scene takes place around 20 minutes into the film. It starts with a lengthy conversation between Baz and Pope on the nature of their profession. Stealing and thieving, with Baz wanting to get out.
Mate, I don't know what you're thinking about your future and that, but I'm about done with this shit.
Baz gets into his car and notices police officers approaching. He makes a snarky comment, knowing that they're on the hunt for Pope.
Ah, shit, guys, you just missed him.
The police proceed to shoot Baz, claiming that he has a gun.
He's got a gun!
The scene closes with Pope running off. This scene uses high-key flat lighting to create a more realistic and familiar urban environment than what you'd expect from other films. The colour scheme is similarly nothing special. The dullness enhances the familiarity of the environment, an Australian suburban shopping area. This familiarity makes what happens next so much more shocking. Most of the audience is generally not going to be adjusted to this level of violence in such a familiar setting. There is a huge difference in seeing a man get shot down at the servo when you're going to buy some stuff, and seeing a bloke get shot down in John Wick. From this scene onwards, the audience will be kept on their toes. The film's unpredictability is one of its strengths, and many more characters die at unexpected moments throughout the film. This creates that chilling and unsettling atmosphere for each scene that I was talking about before, especially when sound is considered. For many scenes, including Baz's death, the score is saved for after the action, leaving no build-up to spoil what happens next. The only sound heard leading up to Baz's death are the diegetic sounds that the audience would recognize, cars and trucks driving past, people doing the week's shopping, etc. Then there's the sudden gunshot.
He's got a gun!
There's a brief silence before the sounds continue. No over-the-top screaming or anything, just the gunshot and eventually somber music fading in as we move to the next scene. There's no Hollywood-style mass hysteria or anything silly. In fact, there's barely a reaction at all. Apart from Pope and some other guy, no one even notices. The world doesn't stop just for someone's death. Side note, when Baz is talking to the police officers, he is shown looking up at them because they are in more of a position of power than him. You get the idea. On to the next scene. Pope and Craig have left a Commodore, stolen by Jay, in the middle of the road as a lure for the police. They want revenge for Baz's death. Two young officers approach the vehicle. They are both shot dead by Craig, Pope, and I believe Darren's there as well. Well, it's hard to see, it's dark. This scene shares a lot of the same traits as the previous scene, with the familiar environment and diegetic sound enhancing the effect of the action. The lighting is low-key with a blue hue. It's much more directional, but still recreates the lighting seen in this sort of environment. Absolute darkness with the odd street lamp here and there. Similar scenes in other films would be flashing red and blue because of the police car, even though the police car's like 50 odd meters away. That's an exaggeration, you get my point. But in this scene, they're not even visible from the Commodore, which reflects how the crime scene would look in real life. The light is not going to get that far, you wouldn't see it. It also makes the characters feel a lot more unsafe because they're not within a safe proximity of escape. They're on their own, they're isolated from any sort of safe area, and that sort of helps enhance the idea of this chilling and really unsafe sort of environment that they're in. Especially since they're being watched by animals. It's almost like they're in an animal kingdom of sorts. Camera remains zoomed in when in the car, limiting the field of view for the audience. This reflects the officer's position in the car with his back turned. He has no idea what's going on, his eyes are forward, everything's happening behind him. He's really at a disadvantage. After both officers are shot, the scene ends with a long shot showing everything that's happened. 2 dead officers, 3 fellas with guns running off, and the Cody brothers all scurry off into the darkness. Honourable mentions. Throughout the film, the camera is almost always handheld, making each scene feel more visceral and dynamic. Each character's costume is fitting to their environment and behaviour. Many scenes are zoomed in, showing either a distant perspective, of a character watching from a distance or a claustrophobic vibe. The score is used extremely sparingly, to the point where the film's soundtrack is essentially just the sound of suburban Melbourne. The colour scheme is slightly desaturated to create a cinematic look, but keeps enough colour to capture the look of 2010 Melbourne. Conclusion. Animal Kingdom is a great, if not a bit depressing, Australian film. It received a few awards and stars several now big actors such as Men Bendelson, Jackie Weaver, and Guy Ritchie. Animal Kingdom did an amazing job at adapting the events of late 80s Melbourne into a 2010 time period, and while it hasn't been explicitly said, it's very clear that the film took inspiration from the Pettingill crime family, specifically in the cases of the 2 murdered police officers and the family's court case causing some level of outcry.
My husband was a taxpayer.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he was, you stupid bitch. Listen to me.
Don't call me a stupid bitch.
But I've heard they're still out there, so you didn't hear it from me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyways, that'll be it from me. Hope I passed this assignment. Anyways, thanks for watching.